old maps, but it came about a little bit after John. That's why it says, it shall come to thee, it shall continue short space. Because looking to the future of the Roman Empire, that completely fallen there, and also how it will come back.
Is the feedback on, Duffy?
As the,
Oh, not yet.
Let me know when it comes in.
Oh, not yet.
Oh, Salat, Kahan Nabi asked to send out the new link. It's a new link for this.
John said, why would these kingdoms already go?
The empires will not come about again until much later, until after Rome comes back.
I think I'll catch it over there. This John right here was with Jesus, right?
So they wouldn't come about until later. That's why I said they formed. They weren't part of the Roman Empire of provinces. Britain was part of the Roman province. It was also part of those empires that came back after the Dark Ages.
Still nothing. Oh, Salat.
So not yet.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you know, just wait for the text message.
Okay, good. I was going 2 hours ago, 7 minutes ago.
So there should be a text message that went out with the new link.
Yeah, I just received it.
All right, Kun.
Done.
Kun. I know this was a long one today. All right, so I see viewers coming in. So I see, all right. So let's pick back up in Revelation 17 and 10 again. It says, and there are 7 kings or rulers, 5 have fallen, and 1 is, dealing with the 7 that we described earlier, right? The one that fell, came back, and ascended out of the bottomless pit. That's why it's described that it focuses on that one in verse 8. The beast that thou sawest that was and is not and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. So it's giving you a hint as to who it's speaking about, because we went through this back in Revelations, the 9th chapter, about who ascended out of the bottomless pit, right? When they started to come out of the bottomless pit and during the Renaissance period and started to now push their policies and their doctrine and start to wage war to come back into their prominence, right? So this is what John is being shown here by Yahweh Shai. It says, and 1 is, which is Rome, and the other is not yet come, which we describe as Great Britain. And it says, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. and the beast that was, right, and is not, even he is the eighth, right? We're speaking about Rome. It says, and the beast that was, that's Rome, and is not, because he got taken out and he had to come back during the time of the Renaissance in the bottomless pit. It says, even he is the eighth and is of the seven, right? So now it was only 7 kings. So where did this 8 come from, right? 5. Where did this 8th one come from? Now we're getting into who? America, right? Because America is of Rome, or Rome is of America. How so? Let's give you an example. How we tie this together, right? Rome, America, Great Britain, right? All, well, the succession of how they come into power, right? Because remember, like July 4th, 1776, America got its independence from who? Great Britain, right? But now it says that the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, right? So the beast that was, that fell and came back later on, but now you got this 8th one. The 8th one we know is America, but it says that the beast that was is the 8th. Who is the beast? Rome. Let's read about Rome. First Maccabees, the 8th chapter, to give you a hint, an insight onto how this structure is being set up. First Maccabees, the 8th chapter. I'm going to start at 1 and then I'm going to jump. First Maccabees, the 8th chapter, verse 1, and I'm going to jump to verse 14. All right, so now First Maccabees 8 and 1, it says, now Judas, Israelite, had heard of the fame of the Romans, the Idumeans, the Edomites, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joined themselves unto them, and make a league of amity with all that came with them, or unto them. So this is how, open arms, they're the top power on the earth. If you want to wave the white flag and come up under us, that's your choice. You can willingly do that. We'll take care of you. But when we call on you, you better answer the call, right? When we need some of you, right, we're going to come and ask. You got to provide it. If not, then, we'll take matters into our own hands. And vice versa. If somebody mess with you, we'll handle it, right? So now when you jump to verse 14, it says, yet for all this, none of them wore a crown. Actually, I'm going to start at 12. It says, but with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity, and that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, in so much as all that heard of their name were afraid of them. Also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom again they displace. Finally, that they were greatly exalted. So they can make people stand up and act or present themselves as if they're ruling when they're really not ruling, but they could build them up to a high status. We'll read that again in Revelation 17. But they're the ones who are greatly exalted, these Romans. It says, yet for all this, none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby. Moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting a way for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered, right? So now, they talk about in Rome, they had a what? A senate. Who else has a senate? America has a senate, right? Following in the same tradition as what Rome had. Then it says, and that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. So this one person back then was a Caesar. Now we call him a president, right? Same structure, just different names and titles. So when you look throughout America, you see that they have the same governance structure. They have the same architectural structures, right? You go into the city hall, you see the what? The Roman columns there, right? You see Roman numerals being used throughout in all of our hardcore legislatures. They'll use Roman numerals. I made a joke about it last time. The Super Bowl, they put it in Roman numerals. Why? Because it still has that spirit of Rome here, right? Say again. Even in the tax system. That's right. Because when you check out in the scriptures, when Joseph and Mary had to go and be taxed, it was around the
Romans had always pushed themselves east to conquer more land and kind of give people a modernized vision. But my question is doesn't in Maccabees it mentions Alexander the Great, doesn't it?
yes.
And how some of the books, and I don't have guys, I don't have my apocrypha or my Bible in front of me. Actually, that book, and I got no.
Yes, you could read about Alexander, and the Greeks and say again.
I think it was referred in one of the Maccabees.
Yes, the first chapter, the first book of Maccabees, and the first chapter.
Yeah, see, I'm going off memory, but I think every time I read that, it kind of does, like when we do comparison what ancient Romans did and how they conquered and then came over here. A lot of that movie really gives you an open eye, a real graphic open eye on how, you know, some of the traditions that the U.S. had that they pulled from, you know, the Edomites overseas and from ancient times. So that's what my question basically was. Like I said, I had my book in front of me. I wasn't sure was it the first chapter of Maccabees or
what's your name, sis? Just I'm not remembering your name. Patrice. Thawada. Catrice. Okay. Kun. Got it. Now I'll put the name to the face. Kun, this is Samat. Good to hear from you, sis. Good to hear from you. So as you mentioned that, right? And we were talking about Alexander. Let me just make sure I'm still back online. We speak about Alexander, the Greek, and Maccabees, the first chapter, but now we're specifically speaking about the Romans.
Yeah.
That's why you'll hear discussions or remnants of the Greco-Roman Empire, right? Because Rome, you see a lot of the Roman architectures, but you also still see a lot of the Greek art, right? So now you'll see statues and pictures of men with what is it called, togas toga, which is like a cloth wrapped around them, but they're totally naked underneath. Sometimes they don't even have anything on, especially when you go over to Europe. They don't have a toga on. They just totally nude, right? Yeah, they totally nude.
Walk around in the city?
No. As far as for their statues and their monuments that they have. Yeah, they just totally out. Some of them, they'll have like a little leaf. Some of them, they don't have a leaf. That's just, and they'll call that's art, right? So it was kind of troubling to me when Hadaz, my daughter, had to take a class, and in the class they had to go and read something with Greek art. So then she came and she was like, "Daddy, I don't know. these people in here naked, but my teacher is telling me that it's art. He's like, no, this is not good. I can't look at this. It's like, oh, this is just art. You'll get over it, right? Because that is them. That's that wine that you drink. Oh, don't worry about it. There's nothing. Because once you start conditioning them at that age, that, hey, this is just art. You can just wear what you want to wear, right? Nobody should care how you want to prostrate or put yourself out there, right? How you want to express yourself. That's just art, right? That's why you see a lot of celebrities now, no bra, very thin blouses and shirts on, and that's art. And they make it become fashion and art, because that's that same spirit from the Greeks taking on to them the customs and the philosophies of the Romans to what we have now, right? But primarily because of that infrastructure is like the Roman infrastructure with the Greek philosophy, right? They take the Greek philosophy of their gods and so forth and so on and pull it forward to what we have now.
The legal dictionary, more Latin words than English words.
Yep.
You look at the medical dictionary, like biology, like classification of animals, Greek words.
Yep. So it's a portion of those same Greeks, but primarily what John was shown is that beast that was, and it was not, but then came up out of the bottomless pit, and that was there. He is the one that is the eighth. But then it says back in Revelation 17 and 11, it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth, talking about America, and is of the seven, right? And goeth into perdition or hell or destruction. That's his judgment. That's his fate. Now, one would say, yes, he has remnants of all of them because they're all Esau, right? They're all Esau, right? Spain, France, Germany, all of them is Esau, but it's going into what he represents and that we can see. So this vision that John is being shown, and you break it down, the mystery is being revealed through his vision. The only problem was during his time, he's not where we are now, because John was not during 1776 when America came and got its independence to see what they would become forward. He's just shown the vision during this period here by Yahushua. It had to wait. We had to fall away. Time had to transpire. Things had to unfold. We had to lose our history, lose our knowledge, use our conscience through the judgment and the punishment of our sin. Right. Then in these last days, we came back. Now, all of what we're reading here that was prophesied to John is transpired. Now, when we come back into saying, okay, you're from Israel, you're from this tribe, this is where your ancestors come, this is what the laws say, this is what the prophecies say. Now, when we come and we read these things, we're like, 7 kings, oh yeah, him. He's the one that's making himself look like that. Let me go into his history. Oh, he did have 7 great empires. 1, 2, 3, right? And then now if I'm checking it out, 5 is falling, 1 and the 8th, and there's like Rome, and then I look in the history of we start putting it together. What's that scripture in I think it's Colossians?
I want to say too small. You said earlier, the young lady said, at Grand Central Station, they got them outside, butt naked, statues on top of Grand Central Station where the clock is at.
Con.
Yeah.
Colossians 1.
What the hell is that? Showing the penis and everything.
Yeah.
Non-circumcised and all that.
It's art. That's Greek art. Colossians. Colossians 1 and 25. So Colossians 1:25, it says, whereof I am made a minister, this is Paul speaking, according to the dispensation of God, which is given to me for you to fulfill the word of God. Verse 26, even the mystery which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to his saints, right? So now you have certain mysteries that was being hid even during Paul's time as it pertained to the Gentiles, and how you would have some of our people who would be classified as Gentiles, who would have a Gentile philosophy or state of mind. That mystery was hid until that point in time. Now you fast forward, there's other mysteries that were hid up until this generation so that they can be revealed and given to the saints. That's how this works. So certain things have to happen in its time based on the Most High's dispensation with those saints at that place in our captivity. All right, that makes sense, Zakar?
Yeah, it makes sense, Mike.
All right, let's go back to Revelation 17. So what I just read, Colossians 1.
Colossians 1, 25 and 6.
Come. 25 to 26. And now we're going back to Revelation 17, and we're at 12. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. The 10 horns represented what?
European.
The 10 European markets, the common markets, the EU, right? So now these 10 horns, it says, are 10 kings. But what's different about these kings from the other? It says, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, right? So they don't have a kingdom like the 7 did, right? But they have their time and their place with the beast, right? Where they have power, like a common market. You go to the Netherlands, you go to Belgium, you look at these places, when you pay attention to them in the news, like you have the capital of NATO was right there in NATO, in Brussels, in Belgium. Certain things is over there in Germany, certain things is over there in Netherlands, certain things is over here in Italy. You have them that have their alliance with the beast, they have their time with them, right? It's like Sam, we mentioned before, having an hour is like you're able to come and dialogue and kicking with me. And we could talk about policy, we could talk about exchange, we could talk about this, we could talk about that. Go forth and prosper, have your time, right? They're given that courtesy. Not everybody's given that courtesy, right? Ishmael is not given that courtesy. Ham is not given that courtesy. Only those who are of the 10 horns can be given that courtesy, right? Read it again. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which who received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast, like we just read in the Maccabees, right? Once you are now falling up under Rome, they take care of you. Rome takes care of its own, right? So they have one mind. They're all in cahoots together. What is that in Psalms about? They have been a confederate. Psalms 83. Get that real quick. You got that, Yaukanan? Read Psalms 83, verse 2 to 5.
Psalms 83, verse 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden one. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right. So what is the main objective here? Right? Who are the enemies? No.
All the nations.
There you go. Right? Nehemiah 5 and 9. The Gentiles, all the strangers are enemies to Israel. So now when it says here, for thine enemies have make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head, they all hated us. One hated us perpetually. but they all don't like us. Why? Because we're the Most High's favorite, right? So now it says they have taken crafty counsel against us and against our hidden ones. Then it says, read on.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
Right. So they all come together and says, we're going to take them off the planet. We don't even want their name to be in remembrance no more. Right. So one would say, yeah, we got Esau out there prostrating themselves as Israel. But why ain't Japheth coming up and stepping up for us? Why ain't Ham stepping up for us? Why ain't Ishmael stepping up for us? Read on in that scripture.
Verse 6. The tabernacles of Edom.
Uh-huh.
And the Ishmaelites of Moab, and the Hagarim, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot.
So now here it is, where you have all of these nations who have been confederate. Not that they're all doing business and everything together, but their main objective is to what? Keep you away from what your destiny and your salvation is. That's why we can say, yeah, Esau's over here doing this, but the other nations didn't come and say, hold on. Nah, they the chosen. What are you doing? They the ones. They're the real Jews are such and such. They're not doing it because when it comes to this objective, they're all in cahoots together. But when it comes to who wants power and control over this thing, who wants resources, that's where they fight and go joust amongst themselves. But when it pertains to us, they all in cahoots, right? All of their elitists know this, right? That all come to keep our name hidden, keep it suppressed, remove us from the position that we're supposed to be. Yahweh.
Yeah, every once in a while they would say the problem in America is those blacks.
Mm-hmm.
He said that. They all on welfare.
Yeah.
2 and 3 cars. They live in the project.
Mm-hmm.
That's Deuteronomy 28:37. It should be a byword of prophet.
But actually, we have more in terms of population percentage, like we have more so white that are welfare.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
They trying to make us look like we're doing it. We're the most smart.
Yep.
We're really the most smart welfare. They're trying to bring everything back.
Yeah. And when you look at, and you may look at just regular common Esau that's on welfare, but Amalek, right? When I was speaking about so-called Jews, the children, some of them have a lot of money, but those who are not the elitists, a lot of them take advantages and use the benefits of the system. They just don't get exposed as being the ones that's on it. They use it for their purpose, to the best of their ability. But when we are on it, we're looked at as, yeah, they're like, oh, look at these guys. They want to get a job. They don't want to do this. Yeah. Subsequently, right? Subsequently, it's how they take advantage of even just our name. So in certain urban environments, and it was kind of what it's about to be exposed even on Power. If you check out Power, is about to be exposed. I see it coming. But what happens is, for those who are in the inner city communities, the government or the sister state usually try to give you grants to help you build a business, right? You may go to them and they may give you something if you want to establish something. But again, that comes with approvals, right? So you'll have certain big conglomerate corporations that will use the name or the face of the urban or people like you to then come in and try to build up their own businesses, because now that's free money for them. That's free money for them to use your name and your cause to say, hey, we're going to build this building. We're going to build this institution. We're going to do this. Where all the while they own it, but you're just the one who's just used as the front man, right? That's what happens a lot of times in these communities. And they get exposed, right? And they try to crack down. But when you crack down, you're like, really? That's what they're doing? Wow, this is crazy. You start looking at these different companies and corporations that's in the inner city. Jardine ain't owned by us, right? But they're supposed to be giving something to us for us to help build our own, but that's not the case. That's just a front.
I'm glad you brought that up because they busted the case here with Amalek, the so-called Jewish the Lincoln hat. This guy was getting like over $1 million in food stamps and welfare money. So I was going down there when I used to work down there. They was coming there they only made one trip, and the money goes straight deposit to their account. And I mean, we get peanuts. They get big checks. They was owning buildings, wasn't fixing up and charging people rent. They was getting over like a fat rat in New York City, man. All their wives having babies, and they was getting food stamps for all the kids and for themselves, even the men. They was running a big Ponzi scheme with the welfare system. They cracked down on a few of them.
Amalek got his own system because usually what they do, Amalek, the majority, a good portion of the men, they don't work. They quote unquote becoming rabbis, so they studying, so they just offset the women to go work, but the women have all these kids and they get the welfare and the benefits of getting that money per child, per kid, living off the hog, and then they go, but they smart about it because what they do is, man, they got a crazy good system. What they do is they make sure that they have their own community, right? They have their own community. They go and they systematically start setting things up where they have a family here, and they bring in another one. They get in assistance, right? They getting assistance, and by the time you turn around, it's so many of them now. They kind of populate that area, and they kind of make it so they push you out where you don't want to live amongst them, or because they have their own rules and government. And some are like, it should come like the Hispanic communities, they'll be there. They'll go into those areas like Lakewood and this place and that place. But then over a period of years, you find out that they become like, they morphed. They're like gremlins, they morphed and they start to control. But what they've done is they brought the value up of that area based on who they are, because they know the system, right? So something that was real cheap, impoverished, and they was getting welfare checks for 3 and 5 kids, and they bringing all this money, but they're investing in that area. They started now going put names and get this and get paperwork so that they now can own some of this stuff. But now what was something like a project or a tenement, now it's a doggone facility. It's like a spa. Yeah. So now, like when I went through back in the day when I used to, a friend of mine used to live in that area, and I used to drive through, I used to see the town. Then years went by. Now I go through there. Whoa, they got like a good square blocks of an area that they own. That's just them. Their names, the faces, you see the shield all over the place. It's all them. Now the value of that area, yep, pennies on the dollar. Now they done jacked it up. So that experience of knowing how to go and regentrify a community and take over it, that's now the same thing that these other companies go and do. Who's running these companies? Not just Amalek. Right? I watched Amalek. Yeah, exactly. I watched the thing because I'm from Newark. I seen what's the man's name? He's not gonna. What's his name? Yeah, no, not Christie. The mayor, bald head. I think he's a brother.
Yeah. I can see his face too.
Yeah. What's his name?
Obama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, it'll come. Him. Yeah, find that. When he came in, he once living among. At a period of time, he was living in the projects. He used to live in my old project before they destroyed it for like a year or so. This is when he was running because he was being of the people, right? Then he got into power, and then now his cause is to bring up and uplift the community, to regentrify it. Remember downtown Newark and how it used to be. Now you go down there, Cory Booker. That's what it was, Cory Booker. They had the documentary on TV with Cory Booker and how he began to do this. You know who he got aligned with? Amalek. He aligned himself with Amalek. He had meetings and they showed him the thing, and he go into the boardroom and it's all Amalek, a whole business table. And he go in there and start speaking Yiddish and everything. I was like, damn, he know Yiddish too? Yeah, because he had to be able to assimilate with them to be able to bring their business in, to bring up and uplift. Now, when you go down there, you see it, it's all totally changing. They got new stores in there, new things over here. Down in the neck is changing. Everything's changing. Who's in there? Amalek. So Amalek is getting that pennies on the dollar, saying, yeah, I'll invest. How much it costs? $5,000 for that square. Oh, I take it. Build something on there. Now it's worth almost $500,000, right? And growing, right? Now those, when we was down in the city, guess what they pushing you out of? The city. Now they pushing us further and further out of the city, and they don't want you to go back into the suburbs. What they once was in the suburbs, now they're trying to come back into the city because that's where the main commerce and exchange is happening, in the city. They want to be a part of that and push you out into the suburbs, right? Now they leaving that area. Now once they leave, guess what's going to happen? He's going to go down. And you know, Jake don't know no better. Jake ain't gonna want to take care of nothing. He's gonna start destroying and leaving trash all over the place, and the value's gonna come down less than nothing. While now, back where you once was, the value is sky high. You see all these nice stores and this, that, and the third, and then it's gonna be so high that you ain't even gonna want to shop there. That's their system, right? Yep.
It is true. So I went downtown Newark, it looked clean, everything. Wow. Even the Grand Central, the McDonald's stores in that Grand Central, in Newark, that was Broadway, all that's clean.
Yeah, they built a new Prudential. They got a whole new thing going on down there, man. And they ain't doing it. They ain't investing that money for nothing. They ain't wasting that money to have somebody come destroy the tarnish. And nah, they got a plan in place.
Then you have to have the cab line up. If you don't, they give you a ticket. You can't be just doing. You got to, you know, you have to, it's order.
Mm-hmm. Son. In 11th Street. Who controls it down here in Philly?
Yeah, they built it up.
Oh yeah, it was like right over there across the street in the corner. I don't even know what that building is, but I mean this is Philly. It's downtown Philly. So yeah, it's the same system. It's the same system.
A couple of years ago, I used to and their main building building it up. They had like another building that was like between 17th and Market, owned by you.
Yeah.
Con, you notice all big cities doing the same thing. Baltimore, San Francisco, they pick up the brothers. New York, 42nd is Mickey Mouse Town now. You know, I mean, it's, you know, they're doing all the big cities like New York, Philly.
Yeah, Harlem, all that. Like Harlem ain't Harlem no more. Brooklyn, the same thing. Brooklyn has been changed around. I remember Spike Lee was complaining about this. Had to be about 5 years ago. Spike Lee was complaining about Brooklyn and how they was changing the face of it. And he was like, "Listen, this is where I grew up. This is where we from. And now I got white people come in here and they making decisions on how things are going without even checking with us." And he was upset at that. And it's like saying, "Yeah, you don't know." The face of that area is changing. Brooklyn ain't Brooklyn no more. Newark ain't Newark no more, right? Those certain areas is
He's trying to change the name of Harlem. The other guy, they trying to put some other name and they go, oh, hell no. They trying to change Harlem to a different name, a certain part. I mean, since you mentioned it like about a month ago and they had a march, they trying to make some stupid name over there. I don't know what it was, but it's oh, hell no, you know, we're not going for that.
Give it time.
So, they trying to change Harlem to a different name.
Gun. All right, so let's get back to Revelation 17. Finish up in here. It says, verse 13 again, they have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Verse 14, these shall make war with the Lamb. Who are these? Those 7 heads, the 10 kings, right? The 7 heads and 10 horns, which are 10 kings. They're going to make war with the Lamb being Yahushua. And the Lamb shall overcome them. So you already know the end of this story. Right? They have all that rulership and power, and they're going to come and try to fight against Christ, right? But it says the Lamb shall overcome them. They're going to give it a try. They're going to give it a shout. And this is why it's a mystery, right? This is why it has to be a mystery against the majority of even Esau. Because if you knew that's like, hey, we're going to go fight with Christ, but you believe in Christ. So that has to be an illusion or delusion or whatever to you that that's Christ. So you're not in your mind thinking that you're going to fight against the Lamb. You're thinking you're going to fight against some freaking alien that might come, that you've been conditioned to think. Because if the Lamb, it says here that the Lamb has overcome them, and you knew who this beast was, you knew who the 10 horns was, your whole scope of mindset would change. It would be different than what it is now. You probably wouldn't handle this Bible the way that they handle it in these churches, right? It'd be like, hold on, this ain't for me. What is this? We gotta go do our own thing here. We gotta try to come and consolidate and mobilize ourselves. The Black Lives Matter movement ain't the one that's mobilizing. The White Lives Matter movement is about to mobilize. That's what they're gonna be doing if they knew what this was talking about. Well, you have some that says, like, you know, your Satanists and your demonic that don't, but you still have a good portion of Edomites that do, right? Even over in Europe, you go over there, they're straight Catholic. They in all different languages. They in there with their pictures of Caesar Borgia. They think that's Christ. They read this Bible and everything else with the same cup that we've been drinking. That's what they on. Same thing, right? Yes, hardcore.
They should know who we are.
Huh?
They should know who we are.
But they don't.
They still
Yeah.
Like that and don't know.
Yeah.
Because the elite keep them blind.
Exactly. The elite ain't teaching it, because if the elite teach them like that, of course it's going to get out. How are they going to teach them without it coming out to everybody? So they have to keep that lie and that mysticism out there, to thinking that this is what God is or what he stands for. These the laws is done away with, all of that, to keep them all, you know, blinded. Yahweh Kanundan Paquat.
That's what we read Matthew 12, verse 25.
Matthew 12, 25. 25.
And Jesus knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So it's like Esau, staunch Catholic, staunch Christians and all of that stuff, and some of them, gonna fight against Christ, and they're divided against each other for all this stuff, even what's going on today in Virginia and so on and so forth, They're divided against each other.
That
the kingdom can't stand.
So you could also link verse 14 with 2 Edges 13 and 29. 13:29. 2 Edges chapter 13, verse 29. This goes with what we read in 14, where it says, these shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. It says in 2 Edges 13:29, page 30, it says, behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. The them, of course, is Zion, the elect, the chosen, the remnant. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. So that's all that calamity that's going to be happening in these days prior to what we just read in the 14th verse. It says, verse 32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before. So that's why it says you got to watch, right? These things got to come to pass, but I've given you signs, and they have to come to pass. You got to be you got to see the signs, read it, understand what it is, and then be watching and waiting for it. It says, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. To the same Yahushua that was taken up, he's then going to come back, right? It says, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. Whether it's this one against Korea, this one against Russia, this one against China, this one against Iran, all that's going to stop. They're going to leave that battle, right? And then it says, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. Right? So what said, they shall make war with the Lamb. They want to overcome him by fighting. Right. Verse 35. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. Who is it Zion is talking about? Us, Israel, the 1/3, 144,000, 1/3. That's where Yahushua is going to stand upon us, right? And then we are then going to be with Yahushua, going to do what? We participate in his war, right? It says, and this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, all their missiles and guns and lasers and tanks. And this, it says, shall rebuke the inventions of those nations which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, right? For their wicked life, right? It says in verse 38, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, like we was reading about before. Now the same energy that they put out, now it got to come back to them, right? It says, and he, the Son, the Lamb, Yahushua, shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto fire. So the judgments that's in this book is going to come to pass, right? Yahushua, right now we're doing that. Right now we're doing it spiritually, right? We're bringing out the truths in this Bible to bring them down. But at that time when Yahushua comes, that's going to be a physical war. That's going to be a physical war that's going to be fought by Yahushua and the angels and the elect that's going to take place. It's going to tell you that the Lord says, Judah, we're going to be his battle axe and weapons of war against Edom.
What kind of outfit do you have?
Pequod first.
Okay. This is a piggyback on the question. It's Matthew 11.
Matthew 11:25.
Matthew 11:25. And that time Yahushua answered and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent, and hast revealed them unto babes. Sometimes when we think about what we call as the prudent for the Illuminati, or the people that in rulership and government, sometimes we might think that they know more than they actually do. Right? These things that we know, they may not, they don't know most of it, like about the kingdom, Babylon, and things like that. They may read it and they say Babylon is something else. And they may not believe it, even though it's in the scripture. It's because the Most High reveal things to these people as he see fit, because he's controlling what they know and what they don't know. And then he revealed things to us who is his servant. Right. Sometimes we tend to think, those guys, they control this. Yeah, they in control, but they have limited information based on what the Most High gives them to fulfill the Most High's mission.
All right, the Most High has put a spirit in them for them to do the things that they're doing, for them to go out there and have the pride of heart to say that I'm not going to go up to the moon and live on the moon or claim the moon for myself. Right. That's my planet now, or my moon now, right? That's what's in their intentions when they went up there to put that flag or stick it in there to say this is what that is in their mind, or everything is theirs, right? So now as you're trying to protect your own and they have all of these inventions that's out there, it's not far-fetched that they don't see what's still out there. They don't see chariots and things moving around. They see it. So what they got to do, they got to prepare themselves, right? That's like you thinking that there's no one else out there, but all of a sudden you find out there's somebody else out there. Matter of fact, the inventions that they got is much better than what we got. So we got to come out here and try to do everything that we can, get all kind of super duper lasers and bullets that transport themselves from one place to another, like come up with all kind of things to try to fight these things that we're seeing.
So you saying that they do see these shares?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. They not even, like I said, they have satellites out there. It's not even just a telescope that they can see from here. They have the cameras where they can constantly. You ever watch? They have like the NASA channel, right? And all they do is just observe what's going on in the stars. Right now, some of it now it's a channel. Right. It's a channel, right? Which means not everything is being shown to you, right? That's like having a channel and saying, okay, I see stuff over here. This is top secret. I'm paying attention to that. That over there is not so much of a concern. We're going to show that. Like we'll keep that going on. But this, this is what we want to focus on and we want to see. So we got to start building things. I don't want that to be known or shown. You know what's funny is I remember I watched the I don't know which Transformers movie it was, but they showed in the movie they said that they went on the moon and they showed them in this area, but that area over there where everything was going on, you ain't see what was going on over there, right? So that's the same concept where there's certain things that they're doing or that they're aware of that everybody just don't know of, what their objective or their intentions are, and trying to prepare themselves for what's coming. The way in which you figure it out is through media, right? You figure it out subtly through media. You figure it out in ID4 with Will Smith, and it's great. And I like Will Smith. Will's great. Vivica Fox was cool. Will Smith was great, right? And then you start getting that emotion the way you watch the movie, and then you get the people who score the movie, and they make it sound so emotional, and it draws you in, and you're like, get him, Will. Yeah, get him. And you're like, right? That's how it is. And then you start realizing over and over and over, you're conditioned to think this way. Right? You're conditioned to prepare because it's been one movie, another movie, another movie, another movie. They showed you E.T. Hey, man, I remember I was little when I seen E.T. It gotta be a real E.T. out there. They done told me about Hangar 7 or whatever it is. It gotta be a real E.T. out there, right? So they condition you to think this way so that when it happens, or if it happens, you be ready to act upon it because that's what your mind has been trained to think. Was it quiet enough?
It's like some of the stuff that they know may not necessarily for us.
Right.
Because it's not part of our mission.
Yep.
That's part of their mission. But we know they don't. But everybody reveals things being revealed to the people. Whether it's what you be in part of your mission to accomplish it. I will.
Gun. All right, let's get back. We're at the 15th verse. So now, this 15th verse is going to link with the first verse, right? Make sure you put the 15th verse as a precept for the first verse. Why? It says in this, verse 15, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Now, remember back in the first verse, the last precept says, I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So now the waters is not talking about waters. It's talking about what? People, multitudes, and nations and tongues. So it's pretty much sitting on all the nations right now. This whore sitting atop of them all. That's what it's telling you. Right? So when the whore is sitting on the waters, it's sitting on top of everybody. Exactly. Kahan.
Right, and to bring it back to what we were talking about earlier about the dragon, the beast, the false prophet and stuff. You look at all different countries in the world, what do you see? Their banks, their religions, right? Their companies and transnational corporations have a heavy influence.
Yep.
Militarily wise, you got army bases everywhere.
Yep.
Right? So,
Caesar's everywhere. Just that alone, we talk about religion. Caesar Borgia is everywhere. Every continent, Caesar is there. That image is there. That means that philosophy is there, right? Everywhere they understand and know about the dollar. right? It may not be the major currency of choice in every place, but it's all reckoned against the dollar, right? Every place has an understanding about democracy, monarchy, whatever, because of America's influence on world politics, right? That's where they have the UN, when they go and they sit and discuss what things should happen amongst these other nations who don't fulfill the same quote unquote democracy, right? What things should we do to them, right? So this is the same thing. They're the ones that's sitting on top of it all.
What's the thing is, you look at it, America and China, that relation, they're not the top nation anymore as far as like economic. China is number one, but that's not even being pushed in the media like that. But the dollar still, you know, that is the world currency that is being pushed. But China is over America in terms of per capita and GDP. Surpass America.
Right.
America's in debt. China is in surplus.
Right, but see, to them, it's not so much about, them. It's about the control of the market. To have the control of the market or the influence to say, don't do that, you can do that. Don't do that, you can do that. That's what they want, that control to dictate how things should happen, right? China is a major player as far as for trade and commerce that goes on because they trade with everybody. But they don't have that power influence to control or manipulate how the market goes, right? That's where the beast comes in. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you say, China transfer all over.
Come on.
Yeah,
They products is all over.
even look at the top empire, you see that they have competition. Just like you read about on any empire from before. You had those who were in power at that time, and you had the ones that are next up and coming, or those that are kind of like a rival. It seems like on those three fronts, as far as the politics, economics, and religion, you have someone there who's like kind of getting, I don't say the upper hand, but like someone that you need to look after, or look for. Like China, you definitely see on the economic tip. Religion-wise, you see Islam getting real good. Ishmael's kind of like a strong force against their Christianity. Mm-hmm. And then even with the democracy or politics with democracy, Islam surprised me. You know, they actually follow democracy, more to the book than what you see over here, even in the West.
Yeah.
Showing them like, okay, look, you guys colonized us, you British, whatever. Let's take your own system and then let's really put it forward in more proper fashion.
Come. So reading on, verse 16, it says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make war, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Whoa, wait a minute. Something changed here. It says, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest," we read up earlier, they have their time with the beast, right? They'll have one mind and they get 1 hour and all this, but after a while, it says here, they shall hate the whore, right? Now you can begin to start seeing there's a little bit, things, rumblings, right? You see the relationship between America and UK, when your leaders sit down, it ain't as cool as when the past predecessors were there. America and Germany, they don't have the same type of relationship. Make America great again, right? What happened? A lot of other people took offense to that, right? That now we have isolated themselves and made it that they're only going to be considering their own selves, right? So it's like, oh, okay, is that how you want to play, right? And then when they sit down and discuss these things, there's a little bit of friction, right?
America is falling, and for them to come back to power, they had to cut all those people out because they was carrying those people.
It's not even that they because when you search the history, usually what happens when you conquer a people, right? You bring them up under you. You kind of absorb them, You absorb their lands, you put people in place, but you allow some of them to still be there and prosper and do like we was reading the Maccabees. So you conquer this people, all right, now you are ally to me. Now you are ally to me. Now you are ally to me. You want to have friends, right? That's like Game of Thrones, enemies to this, enemies to here, enemies there. After a while, you left alone. You want to have someone who's a friend or an ally. You need someone as a friend or ally. Strategically, you choose, you know, who you want. If you need to cut off strategically, you'll make sure you keep certain people in lines. But again, remember, back when we started this off, who's controlling all this? Most High. Remember, the Most High is the one that's mustering his host. He's putting the spirit in them to think like they think. He's building up that pride in them to move the way they move. Because this got to happen according to how the Most High said. So now you're going to have certain people in place with certain intentions that's going to conflict with others. So now these other horns, they're going to start to kind of have hatred towards the beast, hatred towards the whore. I'm like, you know, we about to back off of him a little bit. We're going to say it face because we got to be strategic. All right. We're going to have our own little meetings over here on the side about how we want certain things to go down. Right. So that's how you have not just, you know, your big ones, Russia and all of them is going to come. You're going to have others that's also going to come against the beast. Remember, Russia was one of the great empires of Edom, right? But they are now separated. The 10 Horns, Belgium and Netherlands and Italy and all of them, they're all Edomites, right? They're all their own, but they're going to turn on each other. What was that scripture? Hold on, Paquad, you said something. What was that scripture? Was it you or Yahweh Kanan as far as for in Matthews about a kingdom divided against itself can't stand. A kingdom divided against itself can't stand. So that's the little jewel that Yahweh shot through out there as far as for the devil. And how if you were the devil and you're going against your own, your empire is definitely shown to fall. That's what now Yahweh Shah is showing John the Revelator. They're going to start to hate them and make them naked, start to expose them themselves. Little by little, certain things are going to come out. That's what we're seeing now here in the media. Right now is the little tension that we're seeing with Russia. Then it's going to be another one over there in the Middle East. You're going to be like, oh, I mean, over there in Europe. People are like, what? Them too? Might be Germany, might be this one, might be that. You don't know. But the spirit is starting to unravel. Paquad, Yahweh Kanan, and then Nabiyah.
It's like pride has a way of having those power elite over exaggerate the power of what they thought. And also when you're in a state of pride, even though you might have allies, this can bring competition, and that same competition can bring enemies because you're dealing with pride. And when the pride is not rooted in the scripture, anything can go wrong because that pride can escalate and somebody who was your friend become your enemy. And that's what we see going on in the midst of the allies.
Right.
Right. Let me read that one scripture in Proverbs 16 and 31. With, last verse.
16.
And it reads, Proverbs 16:31. It says, the hoary head is a crown of glory if it be found in the way of righteousness. So pride is good if it's found in the way of righteousness. Because that pride will turn into glorify the Most High. Whereas in their system, it's pride that is based on their own thought, their own, their own knowledge, their own wisdom, right? So a hoary head, it could be when you have a gray hair, a hair of gray hair, it could be good, right? It signifies wisdom, but only if it's subdued by righteousness. So it's not that pride is bad, but pride without righteousness is what we're witnessing with allies in those things.
Before we go to the second verse,
Okay.
Psalms 31 and 23. 23? Psalms 31 and 23. It's not my comments, but read. Psalms 31 and 23, it says, O love Yahweh, all ye his saints, for Yahweh preserveth the faithful, and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer. Context here, proud doing the Lord.
Oh, he's talking about God.
Right. 31 and 23. Just an echo of
23.
Psalm 31 and 23.
Oh yeah, even North Korea said, "Oh, we can reach American shores," you know.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about, they're gonna want to turn against the beast.
Mm-hmm.
We can reach American shores, and America's like, no, you can't reach it.
Right.
So that they have nuclear weapons. So other nations probably even thinking about it too, saying that, wow, we can reach American shores too.
Right.
So all that, eventually you're all gonna hate the beast.
Yeah, you got. I mean, this contention amongst the different countries is starting to kind of be on all different sides. Like I said, that they still have to worry about what's going on with Russia, worry about what's going on in North Korea. Now they have conflict down in South America. It's just kind of building, and then you have certain entities that's just sitting back and just watching and observing and checking out how the scene and the landscape is going. Because as in anything when it comes to geographical position, everybody is waiting for the right moment to make their move to put themselves in the right position, right? And until then, you play the role. You play your position, right? You play your position until that position looks like it's about to be unseated and you can fit yourself in.
It's like the whole one is unshaken. It's shaken. If you look at they had the BRICS nation, with Russia, Venezuela, South Africa, Brazil, and China, and so East India, Elam. Now you got Elam beefing with China.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Elam took an offense to go and start trying to build up. And Moab was like, hold on, I thought we had an agreement here. Elam like, look, man, we done dealt with this for too long. Yep. Yeah. So while certain things is going on, the spirit mustereth up where someone feels that, you know what, now is my opportunity. They worried about that over there. So if this pop off, they got to deal with that. They ain't worried about that. I'm about to go take mine. Take what's mine. They had that. That's supposed to have been ours. We made that agreement, but now you get a new regime that comes in like Pharaoh during the time when we came out of Exodus. We was cool. It was cool with Joseph, but a new Pharaoh came in. That didn't know Joseph. They didn't give a damn about Joseph and said, all right, this is what we're going to do to them. So now you got new governments and new people that's coming in a position of power. And they're like, man, the heck with that guy, what he was talking about. We got to take this out on our own. This is supposed to be ours. So you're right. Everything is starting to kind of just be all over the place.
I just want to read this real quick. I just want to point out the particular nations so that we as prophets, we have the heads up and we can see it before it comes. This is Ezekiel 38. I'm just going to read from 1 to 6. But we read the prophecy about the different nations. God made God talking about Russia, right? And we're going to get there probably next time we do Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get the whole thing as far as Babylon versus God made God. They're going to be the two main factors fighting each other. All the allies we were talking about earlier, all the different countries that either on the side of capitalism or communism. So the Eastern or the Western Bloc countries. The Eastern Bloc pretty much is Russia. The Western Bloc is America. So this is going into the Eastern Bloc. It says in Ezekiel 38:1, it says, "And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against God, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Meshech is the old name for Moscow, and Tubal is the old name for Tabasco, which are like two chief cities over there in Russia. Right? It Let's say the Lord God of power, behold, I am against thee, O God, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaw, right? You're going to test going back to their hardcore communist Soviet Union style, versus now they're going more economic, they're going more commercial, right? Trying to become, more, not friendly, but like more, I guess, more receptive in the capital market, right? People go to Russia to invest and do business and things like that. They're taking that more of that approach. But it says they're going to go back to that hardcore Soviet way. And we just said with Putin that even though he's kind of planning to go commercial thing, that all it takes is a couple different things and he'll go right back. And he's even doing that for countries that are under. I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth, and all thine army, horses and horsemen, and all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Just showing how they're still going to be military force to be reckoned with. But here's the key part. These two verses is telling you who's going to be on your side. Okay, here's where the prophecy comes in. Persia, today is called Iran, right?
Right.
Ethiopia, still Ethiopia. Libya, still Libya. With them, all of them with shield and helmet, right? And you already know when it comes to Ethiopia, especially Libya, that they're not going to be too friendly with the West, right? As far as the interaction they've had with them. So it'll be easy for Russia to say, hey, let's see what America did. I'm on my side. They'll say, yeah, sure, let's do it. But check out verse 6, though. Check out verse 6. Gomer and all his band. Now, who's Gomer today? The Gomers, they're talking about the Japhetic nation, where they originally lived. Now it's Esau here now, right? Okay. Now, who is it? France. So before it's all said and done, we know France is part of the EU, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know even Russia technically is part of the UN Security Council.
Yeah.
Even though they're technically not EU.
Right.
But it says France is on the side with Russia. It says, and the house of Tagarma of the north quarters. And who's Tagarma today? That's Gomer is referring to France. Who's Tagarma? That's talking about Germany. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the EU, who is it? I think Germany and then like France, think they're a close second. They're like to the top. They're the two main economic forces that they're the ones usually giving the loans to the countries that are struggling that are part of the Euro.
Especially Germany, yeah.
So those two big players, whatever America's going to do is going to rub them the wrong way. They're going to go on the side of Russia. It says of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people would be. As you read down, it's already read. Just keep an eye on France and Germany in particular. Those other countries, we can watch them too. That's not too shocking. But see France and Germany say the hell with America in the West. Side with Russia. That's going to be something.
What's that Trump's son, he made a mistake. He was talking, and he said, that we put it on view that he made some kind of mistake. He was spoken something that he said that he wasn't supposed to say. Trump tried to back him up. Mm-hmm. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Make sure y'all speak up so those on the teleconference can hear.
His appearing out there, and it said that he made some kind of mistake, and Trump was trying to back him up. So I understand he made a mistake, you know what I mean? So they were trying to clarify, cover it up, but it was out there.
And also, you see, Germany, I think they have their own satellite they work with for the GPS. They were using GPS. And they want to have their own GPS. Because for the host, how America spied on into America. So that gives them more of an incentive to want to use their own satellite. Even that can create a tension. Like, I don't trust you.
What was it? Last year, 2 years? Maybe last year or the year before, the article made it was in, I think, the New York Times, Wall Street, one of those big ones. It was right around the time when, like, the United States was telling, I think it was Obama was still in power. He was saying, yeah, we need to sanction Russia because what's going on in Ukraine. Germany, come on, right? Join in. And And Germany was kind of like, we don't know so much if we're about to go that same direction.
Right.
Your enemy's not our enemy. And, like the article went into like the trade that was going on between Germany and Russia as far as, you know, the agreement that they had. It's just like, you got to take those things into account. Like, if I'm employing Russians or Russians are employing me, as far as, you know, workforce, as far as import or export, I'm not just to be so quick to say, yes, they're my enemy. Just like what they try to do with China, say, look at those North Koreans, China, you need to do something. It's like, us in North Korea has some history. We looked after each other during, you know, world disasters and, you know, droughts and things like that. We have a deep history of how we looked after each other as far as us providing aid to them and vice versa for certain stuff. Okay. We're not just going to jump on your side because you're.
And the Korean, they neighbors to China. So China always start out taking a neutral stance.
Yep.
But he said, if North Korea attack and send a missile, he's gonna stay neutral.
Yeah.
But if the U.S. try to come,
then they're gonna come and defend it.
He's not gonna stand there and just
because they don't want them, because that's more ground or conquering that they now gonna have, because they already have South Korea. Then that'll make them have all of Korea itself.
Right, and also they'll be a target. Next thing you know, they fear that America will come and conquer them.
Yeah, right. Because they're right there. America's way over there, isolated by itself, right? Canada's not doing that. The Mexican ain't not doing, so they're kind of isolated by themselves. They don't want them to be right there to have all of their missiles and weapons and navy and all that right there. So if a war breaks out, it's right there, and they don't really have an opportunity to come and pose harm on their own citizens like how they do everyone else. But but based on what you just read, what would be most interesting out of that is Togomar, because they have a whole lot of not a lot, but they have several bases there in Germany, right? So when that breaks out, you got posts all throughout there. So when that happens, that's going to be something to see how that plays out. If it's just like one of those, either they're going to fight within or they're going to have to leave, or however that's going to that's going to be interesting. You know, France doesn't have.
Russia's not going to be like,
yeah.
Germany says, y'all want to work with Russia. Russia's like, yeah, get some basic.
Right. Yeah. Because there's nothing in France, right? They don't have that in France. In Germany, yeah, they got a lot. Not a lot, but they have. Yeah, and that's how they got. That's what China is afraid of.
And then in France, I don't know if y'all know, it's like early part of last year, them America wasn't in agreement with America going over something over there in the Middle East. France is back together.
Yeah.
Who wasn't even fighting that? They was on their own. They was on there to get out.
Mm-hmm.
The Middle East. So they're already here for.
What's that mistake that somebody they set the missile up and they was talking about it on the, I can't remember, but anyway, they sent off the missile and then we just looking at it and watching where you know what's going on. Yeah.
The test missile. Yeah. They've been testing for a minute. And then after they finished testing, guess what? We got the capability to reach such and such. We're done with testing. We're good now.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in case anything
go off. Because right after that, then they went to show force. They went and started doing their Korea, South Korea, and the military started doing their own testing of display of weapons. It's kind of like, it's like somebody got a little. You're like, oh. It's like, all right, we're gonna shoot off our job. That's what it is. Yeah.
It used to be like the Chinese stores here and everything. You got more Koreans here than Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't paid attention to the disparity, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
Most of the Koreans are here in America now.
Yeah.
It used to be like Chinese. But the Chinese, they don't slow down, China, and you got more Koreans here than little.
I mean,
they try to open their own business.
It's so clean.
I mean, you got, like I said, you go to every hood, you're gonna find several Chinese restaurants in every hood around every block. There's one over there, there's one down there, one over there. You got mad Moabite, what are the restaurants?
That's why the Chinese have their own thing in China. Well, that's where basically all Chinatown is all the Chinese at.
Yeah, but that, you know, it's interesting. Chinatown to me is you know, that's like, you know, their own thing. Like, you know, where if they're in the city, they can go there and eat amongst themselves and feel comfortable. And, you know, the Elam kind of does the same thing, where they can go shop amongst them. They have their own grocery stores, their own this, their own that.
Right. Jersey.
Yeah, they kind of do that amongst themselves. But as far, because I don't usually see a lot of us that go to Chinatown. It's like, oh, we're gonna get some Chinese food.
Right.
Everybody not going to Chinatown. You're going right over there. Right?
Well,
it's just a conditioning to think. Not to say that you don't go there. Even if the Koreans do it too, they got their own areas. Certain cities, certain areas, they have their own strip, right? Little Italy, all of them have their own strip. So you normally just go there every now and again. You're going out, want to get a little eat or something like that. But normally, right? They stay amongst themselves and do their thing and keep their money amongst their own little people, you know. And then they just have these little shacks of stuff that's in our neighborhoods with 4-foot bulletproof glass and everything else.
Yeah, they ain't taking no chance.
Yes.
Don't go for some Chinese food. All the guys said, don't do it, boy, don't do it. He went for some Chinese food. He went to the bathroom all night.
He kept going, huh?
He went all night. I told him, no violence. I'm getting me some General Tso's chicken. Go ahead.
Go ahead, say, you know, like, you know, that. Someone else will.
All right, let's finish up. It's almost 6, so let's try to finish up in the decent. I don't know, that's got to do it, but
The Germany thing. I think you probably got more insight into that because you have hands-on experience in seeing the people and kind of seeing the dynamic there. But just looking at German history from like a high level at World War I, World War II, the way that they pretty much have been like screwed over, where they're trying to they have been held accountable more than other nations, paid back to them that other nations did, and built themselves back stronger each time. They got a long memory.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be a point where it's just like enough's going to be enough.
Yeah.
They're going to say, yo, America, Britain, Africa.
I think so.
Going over here.
Especially when because they're gonna feel like they're taken advantage of.
Yep. World War I and World War II, this is like basic German history, where they were kind of screwed over after the smoke set up World War I. Like they paid back like debts from, they had like a treaty. So okay, after the war, we all agreed to pay this. Make for we just look, we all fought, we all agreed to do as a means to help out whatever country's called the most damage.
Participate now.
So they will put the money up and say, okay, yeah, we're gonna do our part after the war, and then other countries would pay after World War I, and then World War II saw the same thing, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna make sure you guys definitely pay because the British were very jealous of Germany's economic upturn. They did a whole lot in just under 10 years. They made themselves into a real powerhouse. We're doing trade with a lot of different countries. Like I said, the narrative we get, we can probably talk about this after the service. The narrative we hear about Hitler's Germany is really just a piece of the story.
Right.
Well, that led up to the start of World War II,
Yes.
as far as how Germany was acting wrong by the British, and of course the Jewish lobby in America and throughout, and they had a strong arm in Europe, to where Hitler, actually, you check out the other side of the story, it's like he was a lot more patient and more deliberate in trying to actually broker some kind of peace with Britain. Britain didn't want to have it. They were jealous of their success.
So they slayed Germany down because they did have, I heard that we used to have Hitler, we have, spies Hitler, When, he dressed up, not the real Hitler,
You know what I mean? They had it set up like that. Until Germany got cut all the way down.
All right, we'll talk about it after we finish. We only have 2 more verses.
There we go.
We can finish. We can then go into a little bit more offline. So now let's go back to Revelation 7:7. We did the 10 horns and to make war and hate. Yeah, we read that. Verse 17. For God hath put in their hearts to fulfill His will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of God shall be fulfilled. So that goes back into saying that the Most High is the one who controls the hearts of men. He's put it in their hearts to do those things that they're going to do, to give in, then later on to hate them, to fulfill it in this time that it's supposed to transpire, right? Verse 18, and the woman which thou sawest in that great city, which reigneth over the kings, Salah, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So that woman, that great city is talking about Babylon. You can link that with 18 and 21 of Revelations. Revelations 18:21, where it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. Right? So that great city that is talking about, the whore that is talking about, the beast that is talking about is all the same and synonymous with Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, which is Edom. That was Revelations 18:21 with verse 18 in chapter 17. All right. That was good. We finally concluded. Yeah. It's like, to those who are on the teleconference line, Most High will. Yeah, he was asleep. Wake up. Yes. Some probably fell asleep. Some probably just left the phone. I don't know. Hun.
Look like we're going to do it during the week. We're at 10 to 6 for Esau.
Yeah.
We're going late.
Gun. Let me see. Here we go. So next week, the 26th, no, the 19th, will be in First Maccabees, the 8th and the 9th chapters. So again, First Maccabees chapter 8 and 9 next week. To those who was from last night's class, we were supposed to get into the name of Christ, but we got Spirit led us somewhere else, doing things in the name of Yahweh Shah. So Salakia for that, but you know, Lord's will, we'll pick that up. Keep your notes. We'll pick that up later on at another class in the future. First Maccabees 8 and 9. Kun. Okay.
What was the last one you said?
Revelations 18:21. You talk about the last verse, precept?
Yeah,
18:21. All right. So again, with that, I want to say Thawada to the brothers and sisters who hung on, stuck in there with us to get through the service. Salakia for the Esau's technology going in and out. We do what we can to the best of our ability to try to get this word out, get the teaching out, and keeping the Sabbath service spiritual as we can. So I want to say Shalom Yasha'Allah to the brothers and sisters. Have a remaining Tawab and blessed Sabbath. And also stay tuned for the closing prayers. And again, Shalom, stay up, stay strong, stay vigilant. Most High's will to keep everybody safe and sound and in good health and good spirits for the upcoming week. And we'll say, Khan. So Shalom, stay tuned for the prayers.
chapter 17.
So he was talking about that verse, and he went to the talk about
Barakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Asherah, Nathalanawa, Par Yahagapin, Thawada Aman, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ath, Yasha Allah. English translation, blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, that gives to us the fruit of the vine. Thank you, so be it. So Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, with Israel. I madba upon you, Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Babakushah, Shemai, Lanawa, Aitha, Yum Yun, Aitha, Shalak, Maika Allah, Waha Alahayim, Tazwadakim, La, Shemar Isle, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Wakazayak, Bunya, Yasha Allah, Washalak, Lanawa, Rabium, Kakama, Rabium, Da'ai, Rabium, Bayana, Rabium, Sabalanwa, Rabium, Amawan, Rabium, Aqua, Rabium, Ahabium, Rabium, Hakana, Rokhanaya, Wasalak, Ko, Kata Ayam Nawa, Laha Akim, Wa Akiwa, Wayasha'ala, from Yad, Waiwalam, Bahasham, Yahawashai, so Wada, Aman. English translation, Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, please listen to us now, right now. Send Michael and the righteous powers of angels to watch over, bless, heal, protect, and make strong the children of Israel. And send to us much wisdom, much knowledge, much understanding, much patience, much faith, much brotherhood, much love, much spiritual protection. And forgive all our sins for the brothers and sisters in Israel, always and forever. In the name of Yahushua, thank you, so be it. Four corners prayer. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Barak Nawa, Wayasha Allah, Wabatya Saparim, Shema, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah, Yahweh, right? Again, Shalom Yasharallah. Have a amazing Tawab Sabbath, and Lord's will, we're here each other in the upcoming classes this week.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Shalom.